I was going to film a Stranger Things Reddit video where I react to different Reddit threads about Stranger Things, but we got some exciting news, and to me, some pretty big news from the man himself, Ross Duffer, on Instagram about Season 5, talking about the first two episodes of the show. So we're going to get into those details and what I think it means, and just go into some theories, I guess, about it. And before we get into the news, guys, be sure to drop like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and join my Discord. And without further ado, let's get right into the video. Okay, so if you haven't heard, here is the details of what he posted on Instagram. I did make a TikTok about it, but we're gonna go more in depth over here. Ross Duffer posted a picture of Chapter 2, The Vanishing of Blank Wheeler, and Chapter 1, The Crawl, and his caption was obviously the interesting part. He said, Chapters 1 and 2, which is episodes 1 and 2, are locked, mixed, scored, colored, and done. They are completely finished. Season 5, episode 1 and 2 of Stranger Things is completely finished, done with post-production, ready to watch. It's completely done. So that is some pretty big news. It is August 3rd as of right now. So obviously I'm as of right now, they're gonna have Volume 1 completely done, probably Volume 2 completely done by the time Volume 1 releases, which is a very good pacing in my opinion. That's a very good sign. And then he goes on to say some even more interesting things about these episodes. He says, The Crawl, which is episode 1, is our favorite, most eventful first episode since Season 1. So out of Season 1, Episode 1, Season 2, Episode 1, Season 3, Episode 1, and Season 4, Episode 1, this is their favorite since Season 1, Episode 1. This is their favorite first episode of any season since Season 1. And to me, Season 1, Episode 1, although it's not my favorite episode of all time, I do think it's top 5 out of the 36 episodes that we have, and it's not particularly close. That's not really an argument. I feel like the first episode of the entire show is top 5, and just think about how good episodes 1 were for every single season before Season 5. In Season 1, Episode 1, you basically had the introduction of Will getting captured, then the boys going out in the woods searching for Will, and then them running into Eleven, showing off Eleven's powers, Benny getting killed by Connie Frazier, all these different things happening. It was so eventful. Season 1, Episode 1, I just rewatched it last week. It literally felt like I watched a 2-hour movie, and it was a 47-minute TV show episode. So, and that was my probably 15th time watching that episode, because I've watched episode 1 more than the whole rewatch, obviously. So that was Season 1, Episode 1. And then Season 2, Episode 1, you had the introduction of Callie and Mad Max, Billy, it was amazing, obviously. In Season 3, Episode 1, you had the whole summer vibe, Dustin getting home from summer camp. It was positive vibes, another great first episode. And in Season 4, Episode 1, to me, is the second best first episode of any season, and they're saying it's better than that, essentially, is what they're saying. In Season 4, Episode 1, Chrissy dies, it's a whole ordeal, and it was very haunting, and really, it sort of just, punched you with this shock of, holy shit, Vecna's here, and he just killed someone right out the bat. We're one episode into this thing. So to say that The Crawl is their favorite first episode of any season since Season 1, to me, is a pretty bold statement. Obviously, they're going to hype up Season 5, but to me, that speaks volumes, because I feel like they're not just going to say that, right? They're not just going to say, oh yeah, this is better than Season 4, Episode 1 by a mile. So yeah, that's why I think it's a pretty important detail that they said that. They're willing to go that far and say that The Crawl is that good. And then the second thing he says is, and this is his quote, he says, the vanishing of, and then he puts in parentheses, yeah, you think you know who, blah, blah. So basically, The Vanishing of Blank Wheeler has by far the craziest cold open we've ever done. By far the craziest cold open we've ever done. And then he says, one of the sequences we're most proud of this season. So first of all, he says, yeah, you think you know who, blah, blah, about The Vanishing of Blank Wheeler, because I think we all think it's Holly, right? What if we don't know who it is, and it's Mike or something, and that's him throwing us off? I feel like that would be pretty cool. But obviously it's probably Holly or Karen. But yeah, so he says Season 5, Episode 2, after The Crawl, The Vanishing of Blank Wheeler, has the craziest cold open they've ever done. So to me, what this says, so far of what he said about The Crawl and The Vanishing of Blank Wheeler, is that season 5 is going to start off very fast, because he says The Crawl is a very eventful first episode, and then he says The Vanishing of Blank Wheeler starts off with the craziest cold open they've ever done. So to me, it says that episode 1 is going to be very fast paced, a lot of things going on, catching us up with everything, and also like showing us some shock value like we got in season 4 episode 1. And then him saying that about episode 2, obviously a cold open, the craziest cold open they've ever done. Like, what's going to happen? Is someone going to die as soon as it happens? Is Holly going to get captured as soon as the episode starts? You know, like, to me, I don't know. This just screams like, holy shit. I know he's the creator of the show, but come on, that gets me hyped up. And then he goes on to say, I would tell you runtimes, but I was told not to at a later date, I guess. So that was the news we just got literally like less than an hour ago. So in my opinion, it's pretty cool. Obviously I'm posting this on Monday probably, or Tuesday, but I just wanted to give my thoughts on what I think that means, because I feel like he shouldn't just like say that shit just to hype up season 5, and I don't think he would, knowing like what Rostoffer has said in the past. So I think this is something to note, to say the least. Okay, there's a few other things that have been talked about recently. David Harbour was at a Comic-Con in Tampa, which I'm only 45 minutes away. I should have gone. I had no idea that he was going to be there on August 1st, but he was. And he says, or he said that him and Joyce are going to have a lot of scenes, or he said Hopper and Joyce are going to have a lot of scenes between them in Stranger Things season 5, which, I mean, I feel like to be expected, but at least he said it, so we know that we're actually going to get a good amount. And then he went on to say something that's very depressing in my opinion. He says he wasn't scheduled to film on the last day of filming, but he went anyway to see all of the kids and say his goodbyes, which to me is like very, very sad. He said it was a sad and tearful day, and he compares it to going to your kid's graduation, which is obviously bittersweet. But a lot of people read that and said, oh, he wasn't there on the last day, or he wasn't scheduled to film on the last day of filming. He has to die, right? Guys, they're not filming the very last scene of the show on the last day of filming. Like, that's just not what they're doing. So that's something that you don't need to worry about at all. He also mentioned that his favorite scene from the entire show is in season 5, which I feel like that's another thing that he would just say to hype up season 5. But if he's not just saying that, obviously really, really cool. And I mentioned this in my previous video, but I will reiterate it. Finn Wolfhard confirmed that Stranger Things is going on a world tour. A world tour to promote season 5. I don't know what the world tour, like what that includes, what he's talking about, but I'm assuming they're going to go to different countries around the US, obviously, and just talk at panels about season 5 in November, like after Stranger Things Day, and that's going to be like their big marketing push, is what I take it as. But who knows? All right, that's enough yapping. I just wanted to get my thoughts out of the way on what Rostoffer had to say about the first 2 episodes, and I'm so glad they're done with post-production already on those, so they won't be rushed to get everything done. I feel like they'll have plenty of time to get all the episodes wrapped and underway, and hopefully we do get those runtimes sooner rather than later. I'm assuming sometime in September or October, and if not then Stranger Things Day for sure. And like I said, guys, I am going to be doing that Reddit video where I react to Stranger Things Reddit. So if you guys have any posts that you want me to react to, or theories that you've posted or you've seen that you want me to read and react to for that video, DM me it on Twitter, RelayTS on Twitter. I'll put it up on the screen. DM me the link of the post or a picture of the post, and I'll react to it or whatever. But that video should be coming out very, very soon. I appreciate you guys watching. Make sure to have a great rest of your day, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.